My name is Julie Griffin. I'm a Wake graduate in 1969. My husband and son both went to Wake Forest, and we're very proud of that fact. Just retired from Wake Forest after 31 years in the athletic department. For 10 of those years, I was an advisor to a sorority on campus at Chi Omega. And the reason we're sitting on these benches today has to do with me being an advisor at Chi Omega. The benches we're sitting on are to the left of Wake Forest Chapel. This bench is in memory of Julie Marie Hanson, a sophomore at Wake Forest. And there's a similar bench behind the tree for Maya Witzel, also a sophomore at Wake Forest. Both girls were killed by a drunk driver on the first day of class, Wednesday night, September 4th, 1996. So 6 girls piled into Fiona's Mazda hatchback. They turned onto Polo Road. At the same time, at North Point, Thomas Richard Jones is in his car at a stoplight, and he's been drinking and mixing drugs and alcohol. He's a habitual drunk driving offender. He's got a pending drunk driving trial facing him on this night. He's at the stop sign, and he backs up and hits the car in front of him 2 or 3 times, gesturing and in anger. The light turns green, and he speeds around the car that was in front of him, and somebody calls 911 and says, "You've got to stop this guy. He's got to kill somebody." He goes up on the curb, loses a hubcap, turns right on Indiana, and then right on Polo as the girls are going down Polo. He ends up driving recklessly and is in their lane just as they reach the intersection of Brookwood and Polo. Fiona sees him. She maybe had a second and a half to react. Their car's on the right side of the road. She sees Brookwood and she tries to turn in. I'm sure she's panicked and frantic at that moment to avoid Jones in his car. As she turns left on Brookwood, Jones swerves back into his correct lane and broadsides the car with the 6 girls in it. That's 10:34 on that Wednesday night. Word starts to leak out on campus. I get a phone call at midnight from one of the Chios. I'm their advisor and very involved with the group, saying there's been an accident on Polo Road. There are Wake Forest students involved, but they don't think there are any Chios. Having gone to Wake, I have lots of friends who had children at Wake Forest at that point. So I start calling hospitals and the school trying to find out more about the accident. Can't find out anything. And then at 2 o'clock, the girls call me back and say, meet them at Baptist Hospital, that the Chios were in the wreck. I go to Baptist and to the emergency room to find out that Maya Witzel and Julie Hanson died on the operating table after the accident. There are no words, y'all, to describe how you feel when you get those words. I'm not even their parents, but they're girls that I know. And I am surrounded by the officers of the sorority who are hysterical in their grief. The other 4 girls in the accident, 3 of them are injured severely. The driver, Fiona Penny, is lucky, was not injured and was released that night. The next day, on Thursday, the word has spread around campus. Y'all don't have chapel anymore at Wake Forest, but we used to have chapel every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 o'clock. And it's normally held in Davis Chapel with a small number of students attending. Dr. Hearn moved chapel. Dr. Hearn was the president at that time, moved chapel to Wake Chapel, and there was a service of remembrance for the girls who were killed the night before. About 1,500 students from campus attended the ceremony and the service. And after it was over, as students gathered on the quad, they were tears, screams, just horrified, terrible reactions. People were embracing, they were in each other's arms, and Dr. Hearn looks out over the quad and says it's like Dante's Inferno. He just cannot believe the tragedy that has befallen these Wake Forest students and actually the entire campus. So what happened to those girls? They have died, but their memories have never died, and the way people feel and it made them feel is not going to go away. On September 4th, 1997, Dr. Hearn dedicated this bench for Julie, the bench for Maya, and a bench out in front of Wake Chapel for both girls. And these were his words at the dedication. We dedicate this bench and this place on our campus to Julie and Maya in memory and in hope. May their dreams and ambitions live on in each of us to summon us to high achievement and service to others. In future years, may the enlivening spirit of those that we honor today and cherish forever touch those who stop to read or rest or to pray. May you remember all your lives and say to your children and your children's children that there is a corner of the earth at Wake Forest that is forever holy ground, made sacred by love. Anyway, my message to y'all is, when you pass these benches, stop and think. Think about making the most of your life, taking care of your friends, and never drinking and driving. And don't let your friends drink and drive.